everybody. We have the pleasure of having two of the three members of Team Ecovolt from India here today. And Team Ecovolt entered the Power of the Community Design Competition. We had 231 registrations, 56 teams submitted compliant designs. Their design went up through the group knockout round to the semifinals, where it proceeded then to the finals, and then they were selected to get one of our six prizes. So in our Power of the Community competition 2026, sponsored by Energy Mentors. And so we have with us today Mohammed Riazuddin Ahmed, Riaz, and
Yeah.
Udapan Mandal. And not with us, unfortunately, today is Kushi Kumari. But we will certainly get into the design with the two gentlemen that we have and learn all about them. So this next hour is kind of a celebration of your design. You did the
Mm.
work. The results were rendered by our judges. Three judges looked at your design in the group knockouts, three more judges in the semifinals, and five judges in the finals. But now we want to make sure that we can explain to the audience and people who might be looking to get ideas for next year what your design was about. So first, let me start with Riaz. Riaz, tell us about yourself, your background, and how you came into this competition.
Um, I am a metallurgical engineer. I'm studying metallurgical engineering and I'm at my first year in college. I got to know about this from my brother who participated in this the last year, and that's how I met Udipan also. So yeah. Mm.
Okay, and you mentioned last year. I was going to say I recognize that name, Udapan
Yeah.
Mandal. Weren't
Mm,
you on a team last year, and did you take home something, Udapan?
Yes, sir, I won the prize last year, like the first prize.
So this is the third team that had some tie to the team last year. So we had Team Engawatch from Kenya, who didn't have a team member last year, but they knew people at Swarthmore University in Nairobi, Kenya, and that inspired them to compete. I just talked to two gentlemen from Team uh, uh, what is it? It's What's Up from Madagascar. And they attend Case Western University, where they ran into a student last year from Zimbabwe who took a prize. So we're starting to see these pockets of excellence pop up where knowledge is compounding and learning. So I'm going to start there. Yupan, what did you learn last year and why did you decide to compete this year?
Yes, sir. So basically, unlike other competition, like other design competitions where we are competing on the basis of design only, right? There are many types of competitions that are for projects, like to win a project, you have to win a tender. Then there are design-based competitions where we are competing on the basis of design. But this was the unique conceptual and technical based competition where we are also looking at the sustainability factor by a lot. Like we are looking at the technologies to be used, we are looking at the different aspects that should go into designing or constructing houses. And since last year I was working in a firm that actually focused on these technologies a lot, I was quite inspired to take part in this competition.
Wow, that's I hadn't really realized that about how our competition is framed, but that's kind of cool that you made that observation. I may have to put that into our marketing materials.
Thank you, sir.
That it has all those different dimensions. Uh, so Riaz, how did you get connected up with the team, and how did you decide to go about splitting the work among you all?
Um, so I got connected to a team by my own brother, Miraj. He was also like in the team Accelerate the last year. So he told me that this would be a very good opening for me, you know, for me to explore. And as for the workload, I focus mainly on the energy part of it, how the renewable energy part of it, while Udipan worked on the architectural part, the community part, and Khushi worked on the design of the PPT.
Cool. So what did you tell your brother when you found out that you also took home a prize?
Well, he got really happy, and well, he he wanted me to win also, and I'm really proud that even I got to win something out of this. Yeah.
So did you do it for the prize or did you do it for the learning opportunity?
I wanted to learn more first and foremost because I wanted, you know, I wanted to explore more things, and I thought that this would be a great way for me to understand new things, like renewable energy, and which uh, which is very interesting to me also. So yeah.
Yeah, learning, upskilling, they're all leading indicators to success that if you
Hmm.
get some prize at the back end, that's a lagging indicator. But the most important thing is taking that decision and deciding to get out there.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Um, so if I understand correctly, the three team members are at three different campuses in three different places.
Yes.
So so, how far apart are the campuses, and how did that coordination go in putting together your work?
Um, I like I think Udipan he lives I really don't know where he lives exactly, but I know where Kosi lives. He's in Dhanbad. So that is pretty far away from my house, like around 7 to 8 hours. And the work was mostly through online, laptops and us meeting through meetings and Google Meet and all that. So it was certainly very interesting for us to see release.
I would I would like to add one thing. Like last year, we had some problems while communicating with our team members. But this year, since I had some experience from my previous year, so in the coordination part, like when to do and what to do, I did take a lot of aspect. Like I did put a lot of efforts into communicating with the team members. And also like currently, like my last previous year's team members were in college. Now they are passed out, but I have just graduated this year. So currently, I was in still college while the competition was happening. I was still a student. So I was managing this competition while my thesis was going on. So I had to split time in between the college and putting the efforts into the competition as well. So yeah, their college is I think 300 to 400 miles away from where my college is. But still, like we talked over the internet, we talked through calls and managed the work. Anyhow, it was possible.
Yeah, the fact that Riaz doesn't even know where you live, but you were able to collaborate on a successful design, that's kind of emblematic of working in the modern economy. It's working
Yes,
without
sir.
borders. That's pretty cool. So, but it did take some coordination and effort. How
Yes,
long
sir.
did you all work on the design? When did you start?
Okay, so we did start back in March. Like we had received the briefs earlier. We had started planning, okay, we will take this site. So the site selection was done by me. Like since we all go to like our colleges in the same state, like is eastern state of India, Jharkhand. We all go to colleges based on the same state. And one thing about Jharkhand is it is the largest coal producing state within our country. Like it produces more than half of the coal in India. Like I think 54%. So my initial discussion was कि we will take a site that is like easily reachable by us. Like I think Khushi went there and visited the site, did the interviews. So my first decision was कि it should be within our state, somewhere reachable. Also, it should address a local problem that is like quite unique to the site. Like there is a huge problem of land subsidence and coal-based waste that is produced from coal mining, right? So, and in India, it is not that much regulated. Like coal wastes are like just dumped, and we call it coal overburden. So, our core project was on the basis of how to utilize coal overburden, how to utilize the coal waste, and uh, utilize it into our designing. We did try to incorporate majority of those aspects in our design, and evidently it has shown. its results as well, I would say.
Yeah, and there's something else that's kind of unique. You mentioned coal, but in Jharia, what's going on underground that's been 100-year problem?
Yes, so Jharia has been in fire, like as per all the international media as well. There has been an underground fire going on for decades. So all the coal that is like laying beneath the earth, it is literally burning there. So people, still, many people are not that, they don't have the luxury of living somewhere else. People who are working there, people whose livelihood depends on the coal mining, they have to somehow manage with that. All the methane, all the dust that is coming out, it does create a lot of lifestyle problems for the people there. So Jharia, like this is quite unique to the site that we have chosen. It lies nearby those coal fields that have the underground fires. So we had to keep that in mind, and also we have tried to incorporate it to an extent that we are using that heat to create steam. We are using that heat to generate heat or a little bit of thermal energy wherever we can, and we have put it into our project.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of I've seen some geothermal designs in our competition before, but taking a waste fire underground that's been burning for such a long time and making it the source of the heat for geothermal, that was pretty innovative. Part of the essence of our competition is actually siting a real piece of land and working with both the strengths and the weaknesses of it, and that is one way to turn a weakness into a strength. So Riaz, what are other fundamentals of the location that you had to deal with and some of the approaches you brought to it?
Like you said, the approach we like what I thought was that since the coal fires were going on for so long, and it was such a waste of energy for us, what we thought. So like I tried to research about it a lot, and I found that there was this coaxial wellborns, which takes this heat from underground and converts it into energy. There was a research paper established on it, and I read through it. It was very interesting, and um, it certainly showed how you can, even though it's such a waste that there's so much energy being wasted over there, you can still make use of it somehow.
Yeah, and I think I read, Udapan just said like half the coal of India comes out of uh, this state, Jharkhand, and but still you have poor air quality and unbelievably unreliable electricity. So you have a lot of outages, and so even though it's the source of energy for the country, it's not really, helping the local population. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Uh, What we saw was Jharia being like the coal city of India, and we saw that there was no electricity come because the place was constantly being mined for coal, and that in return created more pollution. And in the beginning, there was a lot of unregulated mining. That is one of the big reasons why there was a coal fire. So yeah, yeah.
You have something to add to that, Udapan?
Also, yes, I wanted to add one thing. Whenever, like, uh, in any town, wherever there is mining happening, like it could be coal, mica, granite, anything, what happens people don't have a long-term vision of developing infrastructure there. Like, particularly the states that are energy rich or states which have a lot of minerals, they do not want to develop the roads or the electricity for the local population just because they are like the government is more focused into developing the bigger cities. They are more focused into diverting the funds into larger, more business-centric places rather than the places where the energy or minerals is coming from. And I think this has been a common problem for many developing and also underdeveloped countries that we commonly face. So one humanistic reason for us to take the site was like key. We wanted to do something for the people who are living there. We wanted to develop a community that was not only affordable but also also puts dignity to the lives of the people. Like it also gives the good lifestyle to the people who are actually working there or living there. So a major part of our community design is also focused in providing EWS or LIG, lower income group flats, that is highly subsidized, or some flats are even provided for free to the population of people living there or working there.
The talk a little bit more about daily life. Like, what do they use for cooking now, and what's your vision for cooking in your community?
Yes, sir. So currently, in the state of Jharkhand, coal is quite abundant. Like in recent years, government has pushed for liquid petrol, like LPG gas or natural gas for cooking. But the people, particularly in Jharkhand, they still use coal fireplaces or they use the normal stoves or firewood. I am talking about the villages, not in the city side, but for the 70% of the population that still lives in the villages in Jharkhand, the coal-based fireplaces or the coal-based stoves is something they are still using, and it also provides like it produces a lot amount of smoke. But people are not aware about the health disastrous health conditions it might cause. So a lack of education is there. But I would say ki currently they are more focused into coal-based cooking. Like I am talking about Jharkhand only. In other states, they use dung or waste or bio waste or anything they can get in the villages. Or maybe in some villages they can also have LPG gases, but that is provided there for a very huge price. So LPG gas or pipeline gas is not that reachable for them. But as an alternative, we have like I imagine solar based cooking or thermal based, like the gas that is contained, like that the gas that it can be stored from bio waste that is generated by the site. I think we have provided a bio waste plant within the site as well. So the major aim was to collect the bio waste that is generated from the nearby areas. Like there are many, like in India, there is a huge amount of cow population. So cow dung or all the organic waste that can be collected from the nearby villages would be brought in there, and the biogas that would be produced can be used for cooking for the community. So I think the transition from a coal-based, mineral-based cooking to a more bio-waste based cooking is something that we imagine for the community going forward.
Yeah, and that's a fundamental health driver with the long-term payout of not having the respiratory diseases. So
Yes, sir.
that's pretty cool. Um, so going back to the geothermal solution with the burning coal fire, uh, you're it's certainly all the pieces of the technology are there. Is there any pilots that are being done anywhere in the world on that, or is this kind of taking known components and applying it to a new use case?
Yes, sir. So basically, this would be a semi-pilot and semi-known because some aspects are already being tested in other places of the world, but some aspects are there that are being tested for the first time. For example, the coal-based energy, like the thermal-based energy, there have been older projects in Japan and even in the Soviet Union. They have done this earlier. But again, for the coal-based construction materials that we have provided, the pilot, like one of the first companies to use coal waste for construction purposes was Coal India Limited. And Coal India Limited is a government company that is primarily based in Jharkhand. So they have been working on uses of the coal waste for the last 4 to 5 years. And the reason I got to know about them, I got to know about this technology is because I did work as an intern there some years ago. So the people who are working there, I went into some site visits back then, like into Dhanbad and the adjacent coal fields in Jharkhand. Like this is 2 or 3 years ago. So that was the first time I got to know that coal waste can be used into something that is much more valuable, such as making tiles, making roads, making construction materials. So that was like I think currently they are in the process of patenting it, the technology that is used to convert them into construction materials. But this is something my college also took. Like this project was also taken up by my college. So even in my college, they were developing prototypes for converting coal waste into aggregate-based sand or into tiles and everything. So this is something that has been working around in Jharkhand for last 4 to 5 years. So I can say that that's a pilot project in Jharkhand, quite necessarily so because the state has a very high reliance on coal, and hence the coal waste that is also generated. It's quite huge. So yes, this has been a mixture of technologies we have been taking inspirations from abroad or and also in India, and also the technologies that we can see being developed in our home state.
So you're not on the bleeding edge, but you're taking advantage of what other people are doing and piecing it together for solutions. That's pretty good. And
Yes, sir.
it sounds like a lot of that building material technology, it's emerging from pretty credible people. And it's was the geothermal with the coal fires, was that also in those papers from Indonesia and Russia, or was that just the building materials? And did you come up with the using the underground fires on your own?
No, that was on our own. It was my idea to utilize the thermal energy that is being generated. So we do not have 100% technology, like we don't have 100% exact same thing that is being done anywhere else. So I would say it was bits and pieces of things that we have put together. Uh, it was like my idea originally to present the thermal waste, like the thermal energy that is being generated, we can utilize it. So I asked Riaz and Kuchi to look into it. So they did more research on the technologies. They looked into papers, what is being done. So comparatively, yes, 50% has been our effort, our ideation. Many things are there for the first time we have presented, and there are many things we have taken inspirations from. Like not exact same thing, but we have taken ideas. This is something that we can do, and this is something that can we can utilize in our own country as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of geothermal startup companies in the US. One that's raised a lot of money, I think, is Fervo. So they're just using the latent heat in the ground, not necessarily from coal, but it's not a big leap of in the technology point of view to get that heat source for something else. So that's pretty cool. Like I've never seen something like that before, but it made intuitive sense. And for me as a technologist, especially having been involved with, I didn't drill wells, but I know a lot of people who drilled oil and gas wells. It's like, oh yes, this can all be done. So that's pretty good. Now you have some other components in your system. You have some solar components too. So Reyes, you want to talk about that? Are you the right person to
Um,
talk about that?
Actually, the solar part was done with me and Udipan in a collaboration because we needed to see which parts we needed to like put the solar panels in. If you see our PPT, we used I think two different solar panels. One was N-type bifacial solar panel, and the other one I don't remember that well. Udipan can tell you better about that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
monocrystalline solar panels.
Mm, mm. That we decided to put that in the lake and the land beside it. So we tried to utilize as much as we can, you know. Udipan like told like you know plan most of where we can put the solar panels in. So yeah.
Your fun?
Yes, sir. So yes, solar was a common component that we have used in last year's competition as well. Am I visible? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, over the last few years, our government has been providing a lot of subsidies for indigenous solar developers and companies who are making the wafers here in India. So basically, what happens is कि earlier a lot of our solar components were imported from China. So currently, our government has directed Indian companies to make the solar panels here only. So many technologies, like you were saying, N-type and monocrystalline, these highly technological solar panels, like they are quite harder to develop. So up until last year, I think they were imported from countries such as Vietnam, Malaysia, and China. Like they are more efficient. They can also provide energy. Like they can produce energy at dark times or high cloud weathers as well. So because of that, a lot of the solar energy like that could be possibly used in India was being wasted because we are using panels that are 1 or 2 generations older. So I think from this year, one and two companies are there. One is Tata's and one is the Adani's Energy Limited, AEPL. So they have set up factories in a state called Gujarat, like it's a western state in India, and they are providing new types of solar panels, the ones Riaz just mentioned. So one, like we have not put that into heavy details, like because we were more focused into the thermal and coal aspect, but we wanted to use things like solar panels that are indigenously developed. Like the wafers are also not imported. The wafers are made here in India. They are 15 to 20% more efficient. They are, I won't say cheaper. They are actually more expensive, but the government has provided subsidies up to 30 to 40% for people to use them. So there are two types of subsidies. One is for big industries who want to use the solar energy, and also for smaller communities such as Jharia or housing projects like the ones we have done here. So the government is actively providing a lot of subsidies for Indians to use the solar panels that are being manufactured in India itself. So yeah, that's how we went about it. And also, like given the site area, we had sufficient amount of rooftop spaces to install the solar panels. Like we have not covered all the rooftops, but a significant amount of energy is being generated within the site through solar as well.
So you mentioned monsoons and being able to, still generate some amount of photovoltaics. In that, your papers and your documentation also mention heat waves. So you mentioned solar, you have the geothermal, but what other components in your system contributed to system reliability?
Um, Another one was biogas, I believe, which we wanted to use for cooking fuels majority. Like we wanted to replace the coal cooking. So we thought that all our residents in our community would be using biogas, and we saw that we had an excess of it. So we decided to we can convert it into energy and electricity, and then we can either decide to sell it to the grid or keep it as a backup in our battery, BSS system.
Yeah, I think he even went so far as with underground cabling, central
Yes.
distribution substations, smart meters, things that are I assume are well, they're available everywhere. So if you're going to build, you might as well build out correctly the first time and take advantage of that, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We have decided to add the electrical lines, the water pipelines, and the drainage lines. Like in our presentations, we made those design like beforehand, so that it is easier to explain. For example, if you see our electrical layout, it will show how the energy is coming to the site, how it is going to the substations, then it is being spread out to the homes. So we have decided, like we did want to cover a lot of the aspects that anyone needs. We have put playing areas, we have put a school, like we have not designed the school, but we have put an area for the multifaceted facilities that people might require. There is a fire station, there is the water distribution tanks and everything. So within the society, within the community, you have a community that generates most of its own energy, that has its own rainwater harvesting, a society that is not extra-reliant, but again, it is self-sustained to a large extent. Obviously, food and everything will come from outside, but we have tried to cover major aspects that that we could have while designing this community.
Yeah, I actually did open up your files that showed the cable routing and the water routing. And
Mhm.
I spent a lot of my career actually being a layout practitioner, not necessarily doing the design, but commenting on the strategy. And so So those things were pretty good to see that when people ask me about power of the community, I say, well, students have to reimagine the infrastructure behind a new community. And you delivered the goods. You actually had the drawings in there. So that's pretty good. What about the buildings themselves? You got some buildings in an area with a lot of coal dust. You mentioned some of the materials of construction, but give us an overview of the buildings in your community.
Yes, sir. So basically, there were three major type of building blocks that we have designed. Three, not three, four. So, coming to the building design, like not only the building design, I would talk about the unit design first, like the unit of housing. So, we have the smallest, like from the smallest I'll start. We have the EWS, that is the economically weaker section blocks for the people who are earning the least amount or people who cannot afford. So I think we have designed 300 units for them, almost 15% of the total units, and those are 1 BHK. So those units are one bedroom, one living room, and one kitchen, and one attached toilet. Like every house has an attached toilet, attached balcony, and one more thing about the building design, like regardless of how expensive the house is, like one major aspect is I wanted to give everyone a viewing space, a dining area, and a living area. Like many cheaper construction projects like that are made for the EWS community, what they do, they give one room only. One common room is there for living, eating, and one attached washroom. And many times they don't provide balconies as well or open terraces. So despite the small floor space, I think it's 35 square meters for one housing unit. We have provided living area, three side open bedroom, and everything that was possible within the small footprint of the building. So I would say like all of our buildings have been designed keeping livability in mind. Like we don't want to earn that much money from here. We have made profit. We have done the calculation for that as well. But we wanted the community to be helpful for its people. Should be livable enough for the people there. So every building has its own lifts. It has fire exit staircases. Also, most of the housing units have a common area in between them. Many housing units, what they do not put common areas or breakout spaces in between the flats, in between the housing units. But if you go through our designs, if you go through our floor spaces, you will notice that every housing unit has an open area. And also, they are mostly two or three side open. Like every housing unit is facing ventilation and sunlight from three different directions. So this was something that is quite hard to achieve always. Like always, you don't have open spaces nearby. But since we were planning the community from ground up, we did not have that much restrictions on the site because we are designing the site as well. Like we do not have an adjacent plot key that we have to design according to that. So we are since developing the entire community as a whole, so we could place the buildings in an orientation in a way that opens up these spaces in between them. And also every
Yeah,
building
and
is connected by a road. Like
you even
everyone,
have
like
oh, sorry, I
yes,
said
sir.
you even have some dust mitigation in your design, don't you?
Yes, sir. Like dust mitigation was something that was quite important since the site is located in Jharia. So there were two or three types of dust mitigation that we have planned to provide here. One was a natural waste, like the plantation of local trees such as Ashok, Jamun, and local plantations. Like we have covered the site. We have not only within the site, also surrounding the site, we have developed green walls so that the dust doesn't flow directly into the site. Like generally in India, the wind direction is from southwest to northeast. So we have provided the trees in a way that stops most of the dust coming into the site. Secondly, we have also provided, like we have mentioned, we have not put it into design, but we have mentioned the use of water waste sprinklers. So the rainwater that we will harvest can be used into water-based sprinklers. So they reduce air pollution and dust-based pollution by a lot. So this is an active-based system that is utilizing electricity on its own, but again, it is like for the betterment of the air quality. So we have utilized both active and passive based systems, and also within the buildings, we have provided green walls and small plantations in a way that absorb most of the dust coming or falling into the building.
Yeah, so you're using trees and vegetation as the means to mitigate the dust. So that's your passive, and then you mentioned you also have some active systems with water.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Thank you.
Um, so I think you said you designed for four economic strata of people with income. You mentioned the economically weaker sector, and then kind of workers going up to kind of professionals. So how does the economics and the financing here kind of work? Uh, what's the overall cost? How are you phasing it, and who's participating in it?
Yes, sir. So, okay, so there were four different types of housing. One was the EWS, that is the economically weaker section. One is the LIG housing, that is the lower income group. One is the middle income group, and then there is the higher income group, that is the HIG housing. So we have divided the housing in a way that there are not many people who can afford HIG living in Jharia. So we have designed lesser amount of HIG homes, but how the subsidy works is the higher income groups, they would be priced at a higher margin. For example, the HIG housing blocks would have 40 to 50% markup and also the profit markup. So after taking out the profit, we are still left with 30% of that flat amount that can be used to subsidize the lower income group or the EWS flats. Similarly, if you go to the MIG, the profit markup is a bit lower than the HIG flats. But again, the extra amount that is left would be used to subsidize the LIG and EWS flats. LIG flats don't have a profit markup. They are priced at a very low price. I don't remember the exact amount we have written, but per square feet, it is coming around 25 to 3,000 rupees in our currency. So, a difference, like a distribution of the economic classes. We are taking more subsidies from the higher income groups and we are distributing it into the lower income groups. So that gives it a cross subsidy scheme. I mean, it's a cross subsidy project where the HIG flats are subsidizing the EWS flats and the LIG flats. And also, there are many state schemes and government schemes such as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana that provide a significant portion of funding for the people for EWS flat, like specifically flats that are smaller than 35 square yards and for single family living there and people who don't have a what do you say, a house in a urban center, a house in a village. So people who are homeless. So government does provide a lot of subsidy and funding for these categories of people as well. So that's how we were able to execute this.
Cool. So understanding how it's financed is all part of the puzzle, and all
Yes.
making it practical. So I'm going to kind of just shift gears to close out, and I want to talk a little bit about the team grit in your own journey. So Riaz,
Yeah.
you came into this in your freshman year, metallurgical engineer. Looking back now, how was that journey, and what surprised you along that journey?
Um, uh, at first it was really scary, of course, this is my first time doing it. But what I was most surprised with was how important other people are to your team. You need to have a very good team to work with, like a plan can't come true if you don't have people contributing from like Udipan who contribute through his architecture knowledge, and I showed like I can propose this energy. So like different people brings different skill sets, and I learned that a team needs that. Like it team needs to be diverse to be, you know, to win.
In fact, I was the next question you've already started to hit on it is what advice would you give to teams next year? So So you've gone through this cycle once, and you already hit on one thing for teams to consider, getting that diversity and making sure you choose your teammates wise. Anything else to add in terms of advice you'd give to teams considering competing next year?
Mm, I would say try to like learn from past year winners because when I was starting I like looked through your website and I looked through every single videos you did with other teams who won, and they showed like what are the things we should hit upon and what are the points we should focus on. So, and I that's what I would like to contribute, that you need to like, and also the PDF which you guys wrote, the rules and everything, those are also very useful to make your ideas come into reality. So yeah, I would say look at the past year winners and how they have done it, and how you should also do it, but you should innovate on those ideas. You know?
Yeah, we get asked the question a lot, why don't you change the competition? Is it a good thing that students are learning from the past year's entrants? And we talk about it, but our reaction is what we're really trying to do is catalyze a generation of energy professionals who can bring solutions to the world. So being able to have students compound knowledge and skills based on the entrance from the past is actually a strength in terms of our mission. So that's kind of cool that you say that. Udapan, you are a two-time winner in this competition. So you must have had some lessons. So I'm going to give you kind of the last word here. What is your advice, in addition to what Riaz just said, for students to consider for who want to compete in future years? And what do you take away after 2 years of competing?
Yes, sir. So many people focus into winning the competition and the prize money a lot, and they plan in a way that have to win. But I would just suggest to try more things, try newer things, newer technologies, newer ideas, because these competitions really tend to bring out the best in you. They let you try new things, they let you do experiment type of design, something that won't like possible in real life. If I'm working for a client-based project, so the client will dictate what type of house he wants or what type of cooling technologies he wants to use, or I can suggest only things that are traditionally used. But for competitions such as Energy Mentors, I could suggest something that was not used generally, like for example, the thermal-based energy generation. So these competitions are really a place to try out your ideas, new innovations and technologies. And there are a very few good competitions where you can literally do anything you want. Like there are not, obviously the brief is very well laid out, but there are many open challenges that we have to face, particularly for this energy mentors competition every year. So last year I gave the competition, I had a good feeling. So I went on to give the same competition this year as well because I liked the this is being held, and I like the way I could do experiments with my own design, do experiments with my own ideas, and I really like to experiment things. So that would be my suggestion for the next year participating teams.
And I think you just mentioned that you recently graduated, so you're starting your working career next, right? So that allows you an opportunity to maybe expose ideas to clients, but you also recognize that they may have preferences to do it a certain way. So being realistic is, so where are you going to work?
Yes, sir. So basically, I have my own practice. So I generally do commercial based architecture. I have been doing this for 2, 3 years. While I was in college, I was also working into design and construction. So I design restaurants, cafeterias, and everything. Majorly, I focus into commercial based clients rather than residential clients. And currently, I'm based in New Delhi, like that's the capital of a country. But my parents live in Gujarat. So I travel up and down from Gujarat and Delhi. So one aspect of mine is I am focused into architecture. I love doing design and architecture a lot. Another aspect is I am also a stockbroker for Kotak Securities. So I am doing two things currently at once. One is finance, managing assets, managing finance for some of my clients, and other thing is designing. I am a design consultant at some firms and also architectural freelancer. Like I have a very small team, but I'm just starting out in my career, I would say, at this point.
Well, good. It sounds like you're a bit of an entrepreneur, and not only are you looking at ways of powering communities, you're designing communities, and you're even doing the financial design underneath them and architecture. That's pretty cool. Uh, I want to thank you both for joining us today, Udapan and Riaz. It was a shame that Kushi Kumari couldn't join us. That would have added to the conversation, but you all certainly gave us a a good amount of the flavor of the design and how the team came together. And starting to see, as I mentioned at the beginning, compounding of knowledge and centers of excellence. So we now have three centers of excellence in Energy Mentors, where we have the seeds of multi-year winners. Udapan, you're out of college now, so you can't compete next year. So you're not going to open up the field, but maybe you will inspire others there around you to do that. So I want to thank you both for
Yes,
joining
sir.
us today,
Thank you.
uh, and I wish you well, Udapan, on your career. And Riaz, maybe you'll be back competing next year.
I was actually thinking about that. I will definitely try competing the next year also.
Okay, now remember, everyone's going to learn from your design, so you're going to have to bring a little bit more next year.
Absolutely. I intend to actually. It would be boring if I didn't, right?
That's right. It's about learning to compound your skills, so when
Mm.
you are out in the real world, you can compound your earnings after you compound your learnings. So, thank you all for joining us, Udapan and Rayaz.
Yes, yes.
Kushi
Yes.
Kumari, I wish you were here, but the best to you. And thank you very much, Team Ecovolt, for joining us. So, audience, hope you were educated by these folks and their design. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.